Have you ever watched a line of ants marching with purpose, or seen a pod of dolphins communicating with clicks and whistles and wondered, what if? What if they took the next step? What if animals, just like us, built their own civilizations? It sounds like something straight out of a fantasy novel, but let's really dive into this idea. What would our world look like if we weren't the only intelligent species in charge? First, let's set the stage. We're not just talking about smarter animals. We're imagining species developing complex social structures, technology, culture, art, and even politics. For this to happen, a few key ingredients are necessary. A sufficiently large brain is a good start, but it's not everything. You also need a way to manipulate the environment, think hands, tentacles, or specialized beaks. And crucially, you need complex communication. Without the ability to share ideas and pass knowledge down through generations, a civilization can't truly begin. So who are our top contenders? Primates, like chimpanzees and bonobos, are an obvious choice. They already have complex social hierarchies, use tools, and can learn sign language. Imagine a chimpanzee society, not just using sticks to fish for termites, but forging them, improving them. Their cities wouldn't be built of steel and concrete, but woven from living trees in the heart of the rainforest, a perfect fusion of nature and engineering. Their government might be based on intricate family alliances and displays of social intelligence rather than brute force. But let's think beyond our primate cousins. What about dolphins and whales? Their brains are massive and incredibly complex. They live in a completely different world, a three-dimensional, aquatic one. Their civilization would be one of sound and currents. Instead of writing, they might develop song sagas, epic acoustic histories that echo across entire oceans, passed down through generations. Their technology wouldn't be based on fire and metal, but perhaps on bioacoustics, using focused sound waves to shape coral reefs into living structures or to stun prey from a distance. Imagine vast, sculpted coral cities glowing with bioluminescent algae, their inhabitants communicating in a language of clicks, and melodies far too complex for us to ever fully decipher. How would they view us, the landwalkers? Would they see our ships as noisy, clumsy intrusions into their sonic world? And we can't forget the birds, especially corvids like crows and ravens. These feathered geniuses are master problem solvers. They understand physics, use tools, and even hold funerals for their dead. A corvid civilization might be a network of treetop and cliffside communities. Their currency could be rare, shiny objects. Their culture would value cleverness and memory above all else. They could become the planet's ultimate information brokers, with messenger crows carrying news from one end of a continent to the other, their intricate squawks and calls forming a sophisticated language. They might even develop a form of cartography, using pebbles and twigs to map out vast territories from a bird's-eye view. Now, let's consider a truly alien intelligence right here on Earth, the octopus. With a brain in each of their 8 arms, these masters of camouflage are like nothing else. An octopus civilization would be a marvel of decentralized intelligence and fluid architecture. They could build cities from scavenged shipwrecks and sculpted seabed rock, with structures that could change shape and purpose in an instant. Their society might be solitary, but interconnected through a shared network of, well, who knows? Perhaps they'd communicate through rapid, complex color changes on their skin, creating a visual language of breathtaking beauty and complexity. Their technology would be soft and adaptable, based on manipulating water pressure and using their own bodies as the ultimate multi-tool. The rise of these animal civilizations would fundamentally change the planet. How would we all coexist? Would it be a world of conflict or cooperation? The first contact wouldn't be with aliens from space, but with our fellow Earthlings. Imagine a U-style assembly, but with delegates from the Human Republic, the Cetacean Collective, the Primate Confederacy, and the Avian Network. Diplomacy would be a minefield. How do you negotiate a land treaty with a species that sees territory as a three-dimensional space of air currents? How do you discuss resource management with a civilization that lives in the deep ocean and values soundscapes over minerals? Our entire concept of law, ownership, and even ethics would be challenged. We might see brand new philosophies emerge from these animal cultures. A dolphin philosophy might prioritize the collective and the flow of the group over the individual. A crow society might value knowledge and information as the highest possible good. The environmental implications would be huge. With other intelligent species actively managing their ecosystems, we might see a halt to human-caused environmental damage. The oceans could be farmed sustainably by whale civilizations. The forests carefully cultivated by primate architects. Pollution wouldn't just be an environmental issue, it would be a diplomatic incident. A chemical spill in the ocean wouldn't just be a tragedy, it would be an attack on the sovereign territory of the cetacean collective. We would be forced to see the world not as a resource for us to exploit, but as a shared home. And what about technology? The possibilities for cross-species collaboration are mind-boggling. We could learn about bioengineering from the octopuses, acoustics from the dolphins, and perhaps even a more harmonious way of living with nature from the chimpanzees. Our human focus on hard, rigid technology might be balanced by their mastery of biological and ecological engineering. Of course, there's a darker side. Conflict would be inevitable. Humans have a long history of not playing well with others, especially those we see as lesser. Would we view these new civilizations as equals, or as a new resource to be controlled? The first interspecies war would be unlike anything we've ever seen, fought not just on land, but in the canopies, the skies, and the crushing depths of the ocean. It would be a catastrophic failure of intelligence, a tragic reminder that intellect doesn't always equal wisdom. But let's end on a more hopeful note. The emergence of animal civilizations could be the very thing that saves us from ourselves. It would force us to confront our own arrogance and our place in the natural world. We would no longer be the lonely, sole proprietors of intelligence on this planet. We would be part of a larger, more vibrant, and infinitely more complex global community. The world would be noisier, stranger, and far more wonderful. We'd look at a forest or an ocean and not just see nature, but a nation. We'd learn that there are other ways to be intelligent, other ways to build a society, and other ways to live. Ultimately, sharing our world with animal civilizations would be the ultimate lesson in humility and empathy, teaching us that we are just one incredible story in the grand planetary epic of life. It's a fascinating thought, isn't it? What do you think? Which animal do you believe has the best shot at building the next great civilization? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into imagination, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into the great what-ifs. See you next time.